Hey everybody, and welcome back to another video. And in today's video we are going to be discussing how to read surf forecasts and surf charts and just exactly what you need to understand before looking at these charts. For a very long time, when the internet did not exist, it was just you rocked up at the beach, checked the conditions, kind of saw it was good, and you would go and surf. Nowadays we have many different tools that we can now use in order to forecast when waves are going to be good and which spots are best to go to when these waves are as they are, or when the winds are blowing in certain directions, or if the swell gets too big or too small. In saying this, a lot of the places around where I surf are predominantly looking for certain types of wind or a certain swell size in order to get these waves working and for you to actually get good waves at those different places. For me, I always use Wind Guru, as this seems to be the most accurate in my area, but whatever forecasting tool that you are using, whether it be Magic Seaweed, Wind Guru or Surfline or any other forecasting tool that you use, it is going to be the same throughout all of these different tools, and I'm just going to explain a few different things and then show you exactly how to read the Wind Guru forecast that I have in front of me. So first off, we're going to look at a diagram which shows the periods and swell heights and how these are measured. So when you look at this chart, you're going to see at the top, first of all, we're going to look at swell period, and this is generally measured in seconds. So how this works is you take the time it takes for a buoy to go from the top of a wave, which is known as the crest, down into the trough, which is at the bottom as you can see here, and then back up to the crest. So from point A to point B is going to be your time. The longer amount of time, the more water you're going to have in each wave, which means the bigger the wave is going to be, or the more power you're going to have behind that wave. Now periods, generally people don't really look at them and think, okay, this makes a big difference, but it makes a huge difference. For us at caves, when we go and surf down there, the bigger the period, the more time you have between sets and between waves, and the actual cleaner that it's going to be between each wave, and you don't have this kind of like wobble that you have on some days when we are down there. Next, we look at the diagram again, and we're going to look at the swell height. Again, this is measured from the trough to the crest, and that is going to be either in meters or in feet, depending where you are in the world. For me, I always like to look at meters because I find that looking in meters kind of gives me a better understanding of how big the swell is going to be. That's how I started reading these charts, and it just kind of makes sense to me in that way. So now I'm going to bring up a Wind Guru chart and just kind of talk to you guys about the different aspects of this chart, the different symbols and what they stand for, how the wind works, and how everything else kind of fits into place. And this is kind of universal throughout all the different forecasting tools and swell guides that you will get on the internet. None of them really stray away from these specific points, and I think this will give you a really good understanding when you start to look at different spots and different places that you want to go and surf. So when we look at this Wind Guru site, first of all, you can search different spots here. So if you are wanting to go and search for different places around your town or around your city, I have got a number of different places that I check regularly to see if there are the forecasts that I want and exactly when I'm going to go, whether the conditions are good for one spot or good for another. Next, we're going to go down to this area, and this gives you the day of the week it is and the date underneath that, as well as the time. So it goes 8, 10, 12, 2 p.m., 4 p.m., 6 p.m., 8 p.m., 10 p.m. So one thing I really like about the Wind Guru site is that it actually gives you a precipitation, which is rainfall, and it gives you in millimeters per hour, which is a really cool thing to have, because even if you're not looking for waves and you just want to know if it's going to be raining or what the weather is going to be, this will kind of fill you in on those details. It also shows cloud cover, and it gives you this Wind Guru rating right at the bottom here. I know I'm starting from the bottom, but I think that's a good place to start, just to let you guys know exactly what these bottom 3 things are about. When we look through WindGuru, it's quite a good layout, and it gives you quite a lot of options when the time of the day, as well as the date and the day that it's going to be. So this is Thursday the 17th at 8 o'clock. And then as we go down this list here, we're going to start off with the wind speed. Now, if you wanted to change that into meters per second, you can click on the side here, and it actually changes that from meters per second or kilometers per hour or miles per hour. And then you also have the option to keep it in knots. So I've just left it in knots for now, and you can see it's blowing 4 knots, 3 knots, 3 knots, and so on. And then the wind gusts, which is pretty much the same as the wind speed, but what you will notice often is certain winds coming from certain directions, they will actually gust a lot stronger than the actual predominant wind will blow. Now this, when it gets to blowing exceptionally hard, like you can see here on the Monday, there is only a wind speed of 8 and there are gusts of 12. Now this means that there are going to be stronger winds within that forecast, and you can actually forecast to see these winds a lot stronger and know that these winds will be a lot stronger. Next, we're going to go down to wind direction. Now, wind direction is, the wind is where it is coming from, not where it is pointing to. So if you remember that, this here is a north wind, and then this would be a west wind. So it's actually coming from the west instead of going to the east. And then you will see, if you put your cursor over these symbols, you will actually see the degrees, which direction that wind is blowing. So this is coming at a 270 degree, which means it is coming from west. Next, we are going to go into the wave, which I just spoke about, and this is now from the trough to the crest, and that is a 2.2 meter rise. And this is generally done with buoys or buoys in the water, where they will then rise up from the bottom of the wave, which would be the crest, all the way to the top, and that average that they get from that movement would be your rise and your wave height. And as we spoke about the period, from it going from a crest to a trough to a crest, it is going to take 11 seconds. So that means the 2.2 meter swell will effectively have 11 seconds worth of time to go from trough to crest to trough. This direction is now where the wave is coming from. So this is heading in a southwest direction, and that means that these waves are coming in from the southwest, and then it will give you your temperature in degrees Celsius. Again, you can click this and it'll go to degrees Fahrenheit, as well as your cloud cover, as we have spoken about before, and your rain, which is precipitation. Now, looking at this chart, you can then decide where you want to go or which spots are going to be better on any given day. It gives you quite a broad spectrum of days that you can kind of see up until, but please note that these often, and when I say often, almost daily, change a little bit and as it goes along. So keeping an eye on the forecast is a very, very good thing to do, especially if you're going to be doing trips or traveling up and down the coast for a long period of time. It's really good to keep an eye on these forecasts and know that you're making the right decision. So I hope you guys have understood exactly what I'm talking about with the forecasting and exactly how to read these charts. This is one thing that I really wanted to help you guys with and just show you a little bit more into not just the surfing side of things, but also the knowledge behind reading charts and reading swells and when it will be best for you to surf. If you guys have any questions, please feel free to drop them down in the comments below and I will get to them as soon as possible. Also look out for the bodyboard everyday merch that has now really got going, and I am very, very stoked with all the support from you guys and I can't thank you enough. If you like this video, please give it a like and subscribe to the channel, as well as clicking that notification bell so you guys can get notified first, and I will see you in the next one.